we use two keys, one private key and another public key. Public key, private key as well as ciphertext will be combined to get the plain text. Receiver's responsibility is generate one public key and one private key. Domain is set of A and range is set of B. Hello students, welcome to the next session of network security. Let's start this session with a new kind of cryptographic method, that is the asymmetric key cryptography. Till now, we studied about the symmetric key cryptography, that is where there will be a single key for both the sender and the receiver, and many enciphering methods in the symmetric key cryptography. From this session, we shall start with a new kind of cryptography, that is asymmetric key cryptography. The asymmetric cryptography is where we use two keys, okay? One private key and another public key. When you look at the necessity of the asymmetric key and the symmetric key, both are necessary kinds of cryptography. For some applications, we need symmetric key cryptography where the sender and receiver both will be aware of the generated key. But sometimes there will be a necessity of having an asymmetric key cryptography where the key will be generated only by the receiver. In a symmetric key cryptography, the generation of the key, transmission of the key, everything will be in the hands of the sender. That is, sender will be responsible for the key generation and key transmission over the network path. Receiver is just to receive the key and use it for decryption. But in asymmetric key cryptography, it is about the receiver. Receiver is the one who generates the key and transmits the key to the sender. Now, receiver is responsible for generating as well as transmitting key and transmitting the key to the sender. Okay, let's see how this cryptographic methods will be implemented in the network security model. Okay, the symmetric and asymmetric key cryptography will usually exist in parallel. We use both the symmetric and asymmetric key type of cryptography and will always serve the community by protecting the data to be transmitted over the network. What we believe is that symmetric key and asymmetric key cryptography are complement of each other. That means they are complementing, they will support one another. Like if there is a need of sender sending the key, we usually use the symmetric key cryptography, whereas if it is the responsibility of the receiver to send the secret key to the sender, if you need more security, in such a case, we make use of the asymmetric key cryptography. Okay. Both the symmetric key and asymmetric key have their own advantages and disadvantages. Okay. What is the thing is, symmetric key cryptography is based on sharing the secrecy. We use the key as well as the plain text which shares the secrecy. Secrecy is nothing but key. Key will be shared by the sender as well as the receiver. Sender generates a key and the receiver is going to receive the key and use it for getting the plain text from the ciphertext. But in case of asymmetric key cryptography, it is based on personal secrecy. Okay, here in asymmetric cryptography, sender doesn't have any responsibility of generating or transmitting a key. This is with the receiver. Receiver is maintaining the secrecy even not only from the attacker, even from the sender. Sender will not be knowing what is the actual key that is going to be used to unlock the message. Let's see how the receiver is going to maintain the secrecy in asymmetric key cryptography. Okay. So the method asymmetric key cryptography uses two separate keys. Okay, one is a private key, another one is a public key. Okay, there will be two keys. There will be locking and unlocking in asymmetric key crypto system. How it is going to do? Here we have the public key of the receiver. Both public key as well as private key will be generated by the receiver himself. He is going to generate both the keys. Okay, public key is sent to the sender. Receiver generates both the keys. He'll keep the private key with himself and public key will be transmitted over the network. Why it is passed over the network is public key is the one which is used to lock the message. Public key usually locks the message. The sender will lock the message and will send it to the receiver. Receiver uses the private key to unlock the message sent by the sender. Okay, there will be decryption algorithm will use both the public and private key to unlock the message. He uses or the receiver uses both private and public key in general to unlock a box. Like we use double keys for locking and unlocking. In case of bank lockers, we'll be having two keys. Both the keys are needed to unlock. But for locking, one key is enough. Okay, that is where there is a responsibility of the bank persons. Bank will be having one key and they'll give one key for us with a locker. If you have a locker, it will have two keys, two locks. Okay, both keys will be generated by the bank itself. One key they'll keep with themselves and one will be given to the customer of the bank or customer of the locker. Okay, when it will be locked, when the receiver or when the customer wants to open the lock, he cannot do that with his own single lock. He needs to combine his key with the key which is with the bank's person, okay, clerk or anybody. Both has to put the key in the keyhole at a time and it will open the lock. Okay, so you can use the locker and keep it what you want to keep, and while locking, one key that is with you will be enough. Okay, no need of both the keys. For locking, one public key which is available with the customer is enough to lock. But to unlock, both the keys, that is public key available or key available with the customer as well as the bank person, both are needed to unlock. The same concept is used here. While locking, one public key is enough, but for unlocking, both public key as well as private key are needed by the receiver. Who is going to generate these both keys is not the sender. It is the responsibility of the receiver to generate both the public and the private keys. Okay, here we have a general idea of the asymmetric key crypto system. Here we have the receiver end. Receiver end, what he will do? There is a key generation procedure or key generation algorithm that is present in the receiver end. So he'll use the key generation procedure to generate one public key and one private key. We have both the keys. Private key will be kept with the receiver himself and he'll be broadcasting or he will be transmitting the public key over the public key transmission distribution channel. There will be a channel which distributes the public key, which will be available to both the sender as well as the attacker. Both will be having the public key, but the attacker will not be able to get the private key. Because of that, she will not be able or he will not be able to unlock the message. So Bob or the receiver sends the public key along with his IP address or along with his identity information. Why? Because the attacker or the adversary may impersonate his identity. Like he may send a new set of public key pretending that he is the actual receiver of the message. But he is an attacker. He may impersonate the receiver. To avoid that, the receiver will send the public key information or public key along with the information about the system that has sent the public key, so that the sender receives the original public key sent by the receiver. Okay. The sender will receive the public key. He'll use it for encryption, gets the ciphertext. Ciphertext will be transmitted over an insecure channel, which can be viewed by the attacker or the adversary. So ciphertext is decrypted, combining the public key and the private key. Public key, private key as well as ciphertext will be combined to get the plain text by the receiver. Okay. So this is a general idea of implementing an asymmetric key cryptography in the network model. Okay. What is the general idea is, we use again the plain text and the ciphertext. Unlike in symmetric key cryptography, the plain text and the ciphertext are treated as integers. In symmetric key cryptography, we use the alphabets, isn't it? Alphabetic representation, or sometimes for calculation purpose, numeric values are considered. But the asymmetric key cryptography never uses any character, because characters are easy to assess. So the adversary can easily assess the plain text or the ciphertext that has been sent. So the asymmetric key cryptography uses the integers or the numeric values instead of the characters. Like, what are the expression that we can use in encryption and decryption is, C, that is ciphertext, will be generated by having a function using the public key and the plain text. Plain text and public key are combined in a function which generates the ciphertext. When it comes to the decryption, we use P, G as another function which represents the decryption of the text or decryption of the message, where it uses the private key along with the ciphertext. So this is a general expression that we can use in the encryption as well as the decryption procedure. Okay, this is an expression for the encryption as well as the decryption. As I said, in asymmetric key cryptography, it is the responsibility of the receiver to generate one public key and one private key. The thing is that if the sender wants an acknowledgement from the receiver, then the sender also has to implement the same procedure with a public key and private key. If the sender has to generate both public key and private key, public key will be sent to the receiver and he will send the acknowledgement along with the public key. The sender will use the private key to unlock the message. Same procedure will be done. One thing is, in receiver, when you have a receiver and sender, receiver's responsibility is generate one public key and one private key. If you have multiple entities for a single receiver, he can use the same public key for all the 4 entities. If you have 4 sender for a same receiver, you can use the same public key to be transmitted over all the 4 senders. But sender has to have, if they want acknowledgement, each sender has to generate private key and public key for it. Or if it is many to one, if it is many sender and one receiver, one public key is enough. It can be transmitted to any number of senders. But if it is one to many, if the sender is one and it has to broadcast the message to 5 receivers, if they want to have multiple receivers, in such a case, the sender must receive public key from all the 5 receivers. Public key must be received from all the 5 receivers. Then only sender will be able to send the message to all the receivers. This is a burden over the memory of the sender, because if it has multiple receivers, n number of receivers, the sender has to get n number of public keys to transmit the message to the receivers. So broadcasting will be little bit difficult in case of, or time consuming in case of asymmetric key cryptography, whereas broadcasting will be easier in case of the symmetric key cryptography, because it is the responsibility of the sender. Sender can generate 5 different keys and transmit it to the 5 receivers. So it will not take much time as well as memory to generate the 5 keys or n number of keys in a symmetric key cryptography. Okay, this is the general idea. The thing is, there is a need for both symmetric and asymmetric key cryptography. What are those needs? There is an important fact that it is misunderstood that the advancement of asymmetric key cryptography does not eliminate the need for symmetric key cryptography. There is a need for both the things. As I said, broadcasting always needs the symmetric key type of cryptography, because key generation with n number of receivers will take much time as well as memory space. Instead of that, if we use an asymmetric key, symmetric key for broadcasting the message, you can easily send the message with one key, one secret key for both encryption as well as the decryption. So the intention is, or the summary is, the security model or the security measure, measure needs both asymmetric key cryptography as well as symmetric key cryptography. All right. Now we shall take the trapdoor one-way function. What it says is, where you can use the domain and the range. Domain is set of A and range is set of B. So here we can make the invertible function, which is difficult to calculate. Normal function can be calculated. So because of that, a one-way function is used, which is called as the trapdoor one-way function, where f is easy to calculate if you know x. So if you have x, you can calculate f of y equals x. You can calculate the x, whereas the f inverse by using x is difficult to calculate. That is why the trapdoor one-way function is used. That means only f should be calculated. F inverse will not be calculated. When you know x, you can easily calculate the y, isn't it? So example, when n is large, n can be calculated, and p and q are known, n can be easily calculated. But if you know n, you cannot calculate p into q. It is difficult, isn't it? So another example is, when n is large, the function y equals x to the power of k mod n can be considered as a one-way function. If you know x, k and n, you can easily calculate y. But if you know y and k, it is very difficult to calculate the x. Even if you know all the other 3 values, parameters, it is not easy to calculate x. But if we know the trapdoor, which is the trapdoor is x inverse. If you know x inverse, which makes when combined with the k to the power of k inverse multiplied with k, if it gives 1 mod phi of n, we can use x equals y to the power of k inverse mod n to calculate the x. Only when you know the inverse of a key, you can calculate the x. Otherwise, it is difficult. So, yeah, usually one-way function is used in the asymmetric key cryptography. Okay, here we have a knapsack crypto system where we use a k set of tuple which uses the values a which are predetermined and x range of 0 and 1. It is the combination of 0 and 1. We can calculate the S, that is knapsack sum, by using the expression x into a plus xi into ai until it is xk into ak. You can use this expression in the encryption of the plain text. How you can use it? Let's see. Given a and x, it is easy to calculate S. You can easily calculate S. However, if you know S and A, it is difficult to find X. For that, you have to use the inverse knapsack sum function. For making this possible, invert knapsack sum function, we use a super increasing tuple where it will be the next value in the tuple will be the sum of the previous value. Okay, so this is like a Fibonacci series. We have a1 plus a2 plus a3. This will be the sum of previous two. Then we will have 3 plus 2, 5. a5 plus 5 plus 3, a8. It will be super increasing tuple. While doing the inverse knapsack sum function, we will go from in a decreasing order from highest value to the lowest value, from I minus 1 to the a1. So, until that we are going to perform the invert knapsack sum function. Here we have a pseudocode which calculates the knapsack sum function in encryption procedure, whereas invert knapsack sum is used while in the decryption. Okay, so now we have the example. We take a trivial example. We assume that, as we said, A is a predefined set. So it will have the value 17, 25, 46, 94, 201 and 400. And S is 272. It has been given. Okay, there is a table. We have a table which shows how the tuple x, that is the plain text, is found using the invert knapsack sum routine in previous algorithm. Okay, we have used the invert knapsack sum algorithm. Let's see the table, how it calculates the gets the x by using the invert knapsack sum function. In this case, x is considered as 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, which means that only A has 25, 46, 201 are in the knapsack sum. We got these values from the knapsack sum function. So here we have a table which gives you the I values. It will be in decrement order 6 to 1. We will have the AI value, S value decreasing with the increment. It is in the decreasing, it was super increasing tuple in the invert sum, in the knapsack sum. It will be super decreasing tuple in case of the invert knapsack sum. Then we have the S values, condition will be checked whether it is false or true. We'll have the xi values 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. You can get the S value by using S minus ai into xi. We'll calculate these values. Let's see how you can get the secret communication with knapsack sum functions. So here we have the key generation procedure. We'll get a B, set of B, and modulus, select the modulus N and R and calculate A equals A1, A2 to AK, which is sent as a public key to the sender. Sender receives the A. S will be calculated by using the expression in knapsack sum X and A. You will get the ciphertext and the S. So knapsack sum value. This S will be calculated with S invert with R minus 1 into S of mod N. Then X invertible X will be calculated with invertible knapsack sum function with S dash into B used. Then we calculate the X, that is the actual plain text, by permuting the X invert, okay, which gets you the plain text. So this is a knapsack sum function, how to get the ciphertext from the plain text. Thank you.